So let's take a look at sending responsive emails. And in this video, we're going to be taking some really great templates from some really great resources and making use of these and learning how we can properly send these through our application. We're not going to be looking at actually building the responsive email because this does take a lot of time and a lot of energy. And we'll see that a little bit later when we look at how these have been constructed. So let's get started with just taking a look at how we're sending emails. It really doesn't matter which language you're using to send emails, the same concept applies. Now in this case, I'm just using PHP to send an email. And it's important to note I have this view set up called welcome.php, and that just exists over here. And at the moment, we've just got a little bit of text in there, and we'll look at how this is going to send in a minute. So what we see here is we're sending it to this email address, and we have a subject here. This unique ID is just so Gmail doesn't categorize these emails, so we can look at them individually. So let's just send this email, and we can see that when it comes through, we just have a really boring email. So the next step then is really just to decide which kind of template we want to work with. And these are really great resources. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is probably one that I would use myself by Zurb, who are the creators of the Foundation front-end framework. And they've put together a collection of email templates that we can download. And we're going to be looking at how we can download these and modify them and then convert them over so they can be properly displayed in pretty much all email clients. So yeah, we have these templates available down here, but Zurb have also released a responsive email framework called Ink, which I would highly recommend you check out after you have looked at the basics of doing this. And when I was browsing this site, what I found really interesting is that they did struggle to create these templates, and you can go ahead and click this and see their blog on how they did everything. So that's a really interesting read if you want to find out more about how they did this. So there are other options. So this is another one that I have used. If you just head over to GitHub, you can go ahead and download all of the files that you need on this. We're not going to be using this one. We're going to be using the Zurb templates. But there are other options out there, just so you know. You can have a little browse around, a little search around and find one that's going to work for you. So let's go ahead then and look at pulling down this template. We'll pull it up in our browser, as you can see it here, and we'll go ahead and look at how we can put it into our application, modify it, and then send it through. So go ahead and hit the download button. And once you've downloaded that, you'll see, if we just close this project, you'll see that we've got a basic.html file. So you can see all of this markup just here. And we've also got the style sheets in here as well. So email.css. So these are the style sheets for our responsive email template. Now, we can't just send this as it is because we can't necessarily link in a style sheet within an email. So we're going to be slightly modifying this in certain ways just before we go ahead and convert this over and send it out. And by convert, I mean placing all of our styles in line. Now, obviously this is really messy, but it's just the way things are with email on the web. We can't go ahead and create wonderful style sheets and then go ahead and attach these somehow to an email. We have to do this really messily, and it is a little bit of a shame, but it works really well. So what you're going to want to do then is, once you've downloaded them files, let's just close this off, you can pull it up in your browser so you can modify it exactly to your standard, how you want it to look. You could break apart the header and the footer if you wanted to, or break apart certain components. In this case, we're just going to look at modifying the whole thing. So we have this base email here then. So let's go ahead and look at modifying this. Let's say, for example, we wanted to change the logo. We're not going to be doing this, but a really important thing to note is this has to be an absolute path to a hosted image. So we can't just say attach a logo or something to an email. That's really inconvenient. What we're going to do is you want to go ahead and host an image somewhere. Like in this example, it's using placehold.it, which will just generate an image for you. And you can just go ahead and include that in there. So let's just scroll down and let's just change some of this. So let's just say responsive email, and I guess we could leave it at that for the text, just so we can see some of our own content come through. And all I'm going to do is just delete this section down here. So let's go ahead and search for connect with us. And this is nicely laid out with comments as well. So you can see the end of the social and contact here. You can just go ahead, pull this up and get rid of that. There we go. So we've now got this, which we're going to be sending to our email client. We can have a look at it in here. And obviously if you have a phone as well that's connected, you can go ahead and look at it on that as well. So now that we've got this template, we need to start modifying this so we can actually go ahead and convert it over, and then we can send it. So what we need to do is, the first thing is to grab all of the styles, and I'm going to go ahead and copy all of these, and I'm going to go ahead and create in here a style element, and I'm going to paste them in. So it's getting really, really messy now. But what you're going to want to do is keep this page as your sort of base template. This file here is not what we're going to be sending. What we want to do is we want to take all of the styles and convert them to inline, and that's going to allow it to be properly rendered within an email client. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy the entirety of this page, and there is an amazing resource called Premailer. And all this allows you to do is, if you're not using if you are using local mail, or you're using something like Mailgun to send emails, you can go ahead and convert your email so it's properly displayed. And you could do this anyway just to make sure, but generally you're going to want to do this. So with this, we can use the URL as the source, we can paste the HTML in, which is what we're going to be doing, etc. So we're going to click this and we're going to paste all of that in, and we're going to head down to our submit button, go ahead and click that, and we now have the result just here. So let's click this and copy everything in. And for the email, remember it's stored within welcome.php, so we're just going to paste this in here. And let's just take a look at the difference of this. The styles in the head have obviously gone, but now you can see that they're all in line. So we've got these horrible inline styles. But this is what's going to allow us to send this email through, and it look really nice in all email clients. So now, rather than sending that plain text, we now have our converted responsive email ready to go, and we can go ahead and send this email. So let's head back over. Let's just close this off. Let's head back over to here and refresh. And there we go. We can go ahead and head over to here, click this, and there we have our responsive email delivered to our inbox. You can obviously go ahead and pull your browser in to kind of see the responsiveness, but obviously this would be best be viewed on a smaller device or something like that. And that is pretty much it. This is the way that I generally tackle setting responsive emails within my application. Remember that as long as you're storing your base template somewhere that you can modify later, so for example, if you wanted to down here somewhere, go ahead and output a name maybe in here, at least then you've got a clean version of your template that you can modify. And of course what you could do is just modify this itself, but it makes it a lot easier to make changes if you do store the original version of your template. That's really handy to have, and you can just modify it, go ahead and convert it over again, and the process is a little bit easier. There probably are automated solutions, but working like this gives us a good idea of how we should be structuring our email in order to send it and make it responsive when we do deliver it to our users. And that is pretty much it. With very little effort, and with the help of Zerb's responsive email templates, we've gone ahead and sent a pretty nice looking responsive email to anyone.